Okay, here's the problem. 2005 Ford Focus. It's got 150,000 miles. The air cleaner is supposed to last 150,000 miles and then be replaced. It is it's a big unit, costs about $150, and I think there's a better way to do this. So I'm going to show you what I did. This part is located in the left-hand wheel well. You have to take the tire off, and you have to take the covering off inside the wheel well to get it out. Here's the top of the car. This is the production air cleaner system, and what we're going to do is we're going to replace this with an aftermarket unit. And there's basically two 8mm bolts here and here. You take this clamp off. I've got it all loosened up already. It's just going to kind of come out like this once you loosen everything up. And it pulls out. It sits down in here. When you loosen these up, there's a tube that's going to be attached down at the bottom, and I'll show you that in a minute. Once you get the first part of the top assembly off, what you're going to see is there's a 13mm bolt down here, and it's connected to a tube. I've already cut the tube, but what it does is it attaches to the air cleaner system in the bottom, and the tube that I cut is the mass airflow sensor. So what I did was the tube was like this, and then it goes down to that larger assembly. I cut it here, keeping the mass airflow sensor. You're going to need that for the engine's computer. And then I was able to put this aftermarket filter assembly on, and I'll show you how it goes together. The important thing is you have to make sure that the airflow is in the right direction, or the car is not going to run correctly. So I know that from experience. So I will show you what it looks like when it's all assembled. Okay, this is the part again that's inside the wheel well. You have to take the wheel off and the wheel well cover to get to it. It's held in by two bolts here and here, and then there's a bolt here that it slips into to hold it in place. This neck comes up, and there's another piece that attaches inside here in the wheel well as well. So I pull this all out, and what I did was I repurposed this part too. So this was attached like this, and I cut this part off to use as the base for the air cleaner, and I'll show you where that goes. So again, I just cut this in two pieces. There's a nut plate down there that it's used to hold a screw when it comes up from the bottom, holding the air cleaner assembly on. Since we don't need that lower assembly anymore, what I did was I popped the nut plate off, and I flipped it around so that I can use it to retain something from the upside. So again, it was holding a screw that was coming up from the bottom. I flipped it around because I want to put a screw in from the top, and that's that piece I cut out. So I'm repurposing one of the screws and this little plastic piece from the end of the air cleaner, and that's going to be a shelf down here, which the air cleaner is going to sit in. So there's the bolt that I put in. There's the plastic cut out again, and I'm just going to go secure this. And we're good, and that's where the air cleaner is going to sit when I put the assembly back together. This is the product I'm using. It's a Spectra air filter. It comes AutoZone or O'Reilly's, one of your cheaper auto parts stores. It's about $30. It comes with two adapters, so it can fit a 4-inch diameter, a 3.5-inch diameter, or a 3-inch diameter tube. So I'm going to use one of those adapters inside the original intake tube here, and that's going to take up the space for the original tube. It's going to fit on like this. It's going to make up the difference. And then I use the other adapter on this side because it's a 3.5-inch here, and it's going to take up the diameter for the 3-inch. Okay, here I'm putting in the adapter, and I just make sure your clamp is nice and loose, and you just kind of keep working it in there. You work it until it's flush, and it fits really good, nice and flush. That's going to make up the space so this has a nice seal to it. Here's the assembly again. I'm going to stick it down in this nice little tray that I made. I'm going to attach the mass airflow sensor. You have to be careful if you can see the inside. If the mass airflow sensor is in the wrong direction, then the car's not going to run right. It's going to cut out the fuel at about 3,000 RPMs. So you don't want to do that. If you make a mistake and put it in backwards like I did the first time, you just swap the ends of the tube. No problems. You can't swap the sensor around. It doesn't fit. But we're going to put it in now. Make sure it clips. There's a safety lock there. And then it just gets installed like this. I forgot to mention that there's a little tab here and here on the side of the mass flow sensor. It's to hold the old boot on, but since you don't need it with the new installation, I just I clipped them off with a razor blade here and here, so that you get a nice flush seat when you put this together. Okay, we're finished here. I got the two clamps tightened, air cleaner secure. It does flop a little bit, and that's what I made that little plastic tray in there to nestle in. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not truly a cold air induction, but it does a good impression of one. And this is all the claptrap that I pulled out. So the moral of the story is you can go to Ford and buy a $150 air cleaner and replace that after 150,000 miles, or for $30, a little modification, you can have a nice imitation cold air induction system. One last thing to mention is that because there's nothing surrounding or enclosing the air cleaner, it sounds a little bit louder at idle. It's got sort of a hissing sound. It sounds really good on wide open throttle on the road, but when you're idling, especially when you first start the engine, it's going to hiss. So I'm going to show you what that sounds like. Thanks for watching. This was a fun project, and since I had so much fun with it, I asked my 15-year-old daughter to video for me and post it on YouTube. So I hope this works out good for you, and thanks for watching again.